All right. I am gonna just walk everybody through kind of some of the main resources. I want to make sure everybody is in and has, for being new. So I know it's a lot. Okay. The word overwhelm, I know, everybody feels like that in the beginning. Think about any time you were new at something. Okay. Like I played softball. And I remember the first time I tried to catch a ball being thrown at my face or throw a ball. Like it was not pretty and it was very overwhelming. Okay. And then eventually I became an expert at it with practice. And so just remember, right now, it might seem like a lot, or you might feel like you're not getting traction off the start. Just know that this is a long-term business. Okay. So what you put in today might not necessarily pay off tomorrow, but it's putting in and staying consistent every single day. Eventually it is gonna pay off. And sometimes people quit before it even, like they quit the day before it was about to freaking pop off for them. So I always just like to kind of go over expectations too in the beginning and let everybody know that sometimes people do join and they have a big warm market, or they've been with another company and they come over and they have people that follow. And so they have a lot of success off the bat. But then you have other people that do this and have a slower start, and that's okay. And I've seen so many people, you guys, who their first 3 months, 4 months, even, they barely had any traction in network marketing, like success wise. And then boom, all of a sudden it really pays off. And it's because you have to really build a network. You have to build a community. And the quickest and easiest way to do that is social media. And if you feel like you're not great at social media or branding yourself, we're going to talk about that tonight. But just know everybody starts somewhere. Like, and I'm not just saying that. If you go to my Instagram and you scroll for a long time, but you go back to the freaking beginning, you guys, it was atrocious. Like it was so bad. I was a Beachbody coach. Okay. So like promoting fitness and health and wellness, but I was wearing like corporate suits and just like posing with plants in the lobby of my corporate office, like trying, like, I don't, every pose has my hands on my hips. Like I'm like a statue. Like it just was not okay. I went through so many different like color schemes where I did bright orange and bright blue and I look like a pumpkin. Like it's going to be messy. It's going to be ugly before you get this down. And just know that everybody starts where you're starting. So don't compare your day 1, your day 20, your day 50, your day 100 to somebody else like mine, who maybe it's day 500 or 300 or whatever, because it is a process and this isn't a get rich quick scheme. So that's why I always like to have an expectation call in the beginning and just let you guys know that, you know, don't compare yourself to anybody else who maybe came in and had a lot of success in the beginning. That's amazing, but we all have our own story. We all have our own journey. And maybe for those who have a slower start, just think about the people that are going to come on your team and they're going to have that same, they're going to go through that same thing. You're going to be able to now relate to them and help them with that too. So just know that if you stay consistent and you put in the effort and you're coachable, that's the biggest thing too. You gotta be open-minded and you gotta be resourceful. Think about it this way. So somebody said this to me when I first got in the industry. They were like, try going to 2 different sources before you come to me with a question. Now, I'm not saying don't, we're not approachable. Of course we are. We're here to help you. But if it's something like, I don't know, like what is Moder's customer service number, or I don't know, something like that, try to find it on your own, be resourceful. And if you can't, come to one of us and be like, hey, do you happen to have this? I tried looking for it, blah, blah, blah. My point is, it's not that we don't want to help you. We do. The point is you have to develop the skill set. Like being resourceful is a skill set. And the more you can start practicing it now, you're going to have so much more success with it later on, because I'm telling you, a lot of this business is teaching yourself things. You see somebody killing it or a new trend on Instagram. I don't know how the hell to do. I'm like, what is this? Like, I don't know how to do this. How do I change my Facebook profile to have my followers showing on the top front screen? Like all this stuff, I just Google. Okay. So be very, very resourceful. And another tip, you guys, when I first got into the industry, no. Okay. I was a year with Beachbody and I had zero success financially. Rank wise, I did. Everybody thought I was killing it because I was like a good rank. But I was actually paying more a month than what I was making to hold all these different accounts active in different spots. And the reality was I was not having financial success at all. But what I did when I, switched from Beachbody to Thrive was I was like, okay, the best and easiest way to become successful is find other people who are and do exactly what they're doing. Obviously with your own taste, right? Your own brand, your own style, but find people in the industry. They don't even have to be people with Modere. Network marketers who are at the top of their game that you do feel some sort of connection to. Okay. For me, it was a girl at Lavelle and she was a couple uplines above me. And I love the way she did things. Like I love the way she showed up. I loved the way her graphics looked. I love the way her feed looked. Like I love the way that she explained the opportunity, her posts. So I studied her. I literally studied her, and it does take time and effort. Like I would go through all of her posts and I would read them and I would reconstruct them into my own words or relate them to my life. And you guys, that's like, for me, that was the biggest thing, was just finding somebody already 10 steps ahead of you and duplicate what they're doing. And now you're like, okay, but I don't know how to make my pictures look like that. I don't know how to do, use these editing apps or, show up that way. A lot of it, again, is being resourceful and knowing that you got to start ugly, you got to start messy, and then it eventually will get to that point. You don't just like wake up one day and your page turns into an influencer looking Instagram, or you show up with all this freaking confidence and you sound like a professional. It takes practice and repetition over and over and over. So, when it comes to branding, I guess we'll go down that route. People overcomplicate this a lot, and I have done it. You've heard a lot where it's like, you got to have a niche. You got to have a niche. Well, for me, branding is you. It's who you are as a person. What do you want people to think of when they think of you? Like, what vibe do you want to give off? What colors really like resemble you? Like right now, my branding, I'm in a very moody kind of dark with like dark greens and like maroons and black, like black everything. Like that's a vibe. It's completely different. And my other point is, you guys, your branding can evolve. It's flowing. Okay. It doesn't have to you don't have to like settle on something and be locked into it forever. Try something out, see how you feel, see if you like it. And you can always flow into something else. Like, I'm not kidding you. The summertime, I'm into the bright, fun, hot pinks, all those colors. Like, and then now I'm into the dark, moody. Like, you can change your branding up, but what it comes down to is you want to brand yourself around things that make you you. And if you're saying, well, I don't know what makes me me. Okay, well, here's the thing. Some people, there's two ends of the spectrum. There's the people that, like myself, and I know Brittany and Crystal and I were talking about this, they're the same way. Like, there's a ton of different things about us that we could brand. Like, we could, for Crystal, obviously yoga and meditation, and Crystal is like holistic stuff. And Brittany's really into the plants and being, a new single mom. Like, there's so many different avenues, right, that you could go down. But then there's other people on the other end who literally are like, I don't have any hobbies. I literally sit on the couch and watch Netflix all the time. And I'm not judging because I've been there. And they're like, I don't know what I like. I don't know what I like to do. Now, if you fall into that category where you're like, I don't think there's anything about me that's brandable, or I don't know what I like to even start branding myself around, that's okay. That means that you need to start trying new things. You need to start like experimenting with different hobbies and joining different, whether it's, for me, like, I got involved with the Peloton. I got a Peloton. I got involved with the Peloton community, ended up really connecting well with a lot of other people that were new to the Peloton community. there were, you have to basically put yourself out there and try new things so that you can start building connections and relationships with other people that are in those same kind of categories or fall into those same interests. So if you feel like you don't have anything, you're like, I don't know, like, honestly, you guys, it's as simple as when I first started off, I had a lot of connections with people that watch The Bachelor, people that watch The Office. Okay. So think about your favorite show, your favorite book, whatever it may be, and find those people. Go on Instagram and find other pages about The Office and connect with people that are also commenting and liking that. If you have a favorite book, a favorite author, I don't know, favorite food, like people, okay, if you do keto, if you do Weight Watchers, if you do 75 hard, any of these things, you guys, it's so like who said they love The Office? I just instantly, oh, it's you. It's Brittany. I'm like, oh my gosh. I literally can tell if I'm going to be friends with somebody if they like The Office. I'm like, okay, you have a good sense of humor. If you haven't seen it, it's okay. You get a pass. But if you've seen it and you hate it, I just don't understand. It makes me uncomfortable. My mom's like that. She's like, I hate it. I'm like, what in the hell? So anyways, but you see, like, I get excited about something as stupid as talking about The Office. Like, if I can, there's a girl on my team, Aubrey, who's obsessed with The Bachelor. Okay. It's trash TV. I know, but it's, for me, I enjoy it. And her and I will just text back and forth, just like roasting contestants or like talking about how much of an idiot the guy was, or, oh my God, did you see we just go back and forth. It's fun. Okay. If I was trying to brand myself and connect, if I'm just trying to go on Instagram and connect with people who are young moms, that's not going to be fun for me. I'm not a mom. Okay. So like, you do want to be intentional with the people that you are connecting with. And so how are you going to find the people that you're going to be interested in talking to? You've got to show up as you. You got to get bold. You got to put yourself out there. One thing to know, if you're not talking on your story every single day with your face showing, do that every single day. I don't care if you just say, hey guys, good morning, getting ready to take my spoonful of trim, or hey guys, hope everybody has a great Monday. I'll chat with you guys later. That's it. You're showing your face, you're showing your personality. That is where people are going to start to connect and resonate with you. You can't be trying to appeal to everybody, because when you do that, you're not being true to you, and it's kind of boring. It is. And I've done it. Trust me. I've done it where I'm like, just kind of like playing Switzerland. Okay. Like, I'm not trying to piss anybody off. I'm not trying to put my opinions out there. I'm not trying to like, ruffle any feathers. It's boring. And I don't find my people that way. But when I start like showing up as me and talking about things that are, true to who I am and my opinions on things, or, I start putting a little spicier reels out there. Okay. That's when I really start to find my people. It's funny because there's a girl on the team who literally, you guys, she wouldn't join me at my last company, which I know a lot of us are from. She wouldn't join me because she just was like, I can't get with the sticker thing. It's not my thing. But we really connected really well. She ended up joining me when I switched to Modera because she loved the products here. And, she's one of my strongest leaders on the team. She found me, you guys, from a reel that I did where I'm like, well, not really naked, but I'm like pretending I'm naked in bed with the covers, and I have my vibrator in my hand, and I'm like, oh my God, Jake, or the Jake from State Farm reel where he's like, oh my God, Jake, what are you doing here? Okay. I'm not saying you got to go do that, but I'm saying it was a little bit risque. However, I had so many people reach out to me from that one reel that I connected with. Okay. I'm not saying you got to go do that, but like, put yourself out there a little bit, be a little bit bolder than you normally would, show up with confidence. And it's not this fake it till you make it thing, but you do want to start showing up as the version of yourself that you want to eventually be. Like your ideal, like when you think about like when everything's aligned in your life and you are reaching your goals and you are living your best life, what do you look like? What is around you? What kind of house are you living in? What does your day-to-day look like? Like, how do you speak? How do you speak to somebody? That version of you who is the most confident version of yourself, who feels sexy, who, is just in her most like badass, part of her life. How does she speak? Step into that. Start speaking and showing up as her. Go ahead, Chris.
I want to bounce off that really quick, you guys.
Yeah.
What you're talking about when you're yourself and you just put yourself out there and you're being bold and being you, those conversations that you have with people will be much, much easier because you have those things in common. You have the same personality. You have the same sense of humor. You like the same things. You think the same things are funny. Britt and I were just talking about this, and Lizzie too, last night, where I had to go to my son's friend's birthday party. And I don't do really well around all these other adults because I don't think before I speak, and I say random weird shit. But I've said that random weird shit in my stories, and that's what attracted Brittany to me. And that's what attracted Lizzie to me, and me to them, because they thought my stuff was funny. And I thought their stuff was funny, but we never would have known that unless we were being completely ourselves. So conversations, and that's even with prospects and people you're trying to build relationships with, when you're you won't have a hard time trying to talk to somebody about a hobby or a product or a business opportunity because you already connect. It makes the conversation so much easier when you're just you and you come across, and they're like, hey, I like this girl. She's got the same vibe as me. You know what I mean? That's all I have.
Yeah, no, it's so true. If you guys don't know who Jessie Lee is, she's not everybody's style or cup of tea, but she's definitely mine. And a lot of people on this team are also aligned with her style because they align with my style. My style is kind of similar. So you're going to start attracting and bringing on people that are like you. And that's a great thing. And you also, you want diversity, and that's going to happen. But as far as to the core, you want people when we had I had my first team retreat here, and I'm going to get ready to put another one together. So hopefully I'll be able to see some of your faces there for sure. But, you guys, it was 20 of us. We were in the room. We were playing one of these inappropriate adult games, just kind of getting to know each other, breaking the ice. There were probably 5 people there that I was a little concerned, okay, I don't know how goody they are. And I'm not I got a mouth on me, and I'm not filtered. And I'm thinking, okay, but they wouldn't have joined me if they didn't already know that. Right. Well, lo and behold, those were the people that really just from the start, when we started playing this game, started saying some of that, you fill in the blank kind of with in an inappropriate word. It was hilarious. Okay. So I'm talking really, really funny, inappropriate stuff. And I looked over at her. I remember one of the girls, Amber. I was like, Amber, I didn't know that you were down like that. She's like, oh my God, I've been freaking out this whole time. I thought that I was going to be too much for all of you guys. And I was like, what? I was like, oh my God, I thought you were going to be so offended. We were so worried. We had to keep our mouth kind of tame it down a little bit. And lo and behold, I learned so much about all these people, and we were 20 people with the same personality, sense of humor, all in a room all weekend. It was the best, the most incredible time of my life. I had thrown retreats before when I was with Lavelle, you guys, but it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. And it was because I didn't start showing up as who I really was until I started doing it. And once I did it, I really started attracting the right people to my business. Because you'll go through times where you're what the hell? How am I attracting these people that just come in here and they're just this victim mentality and they're helpless, and who pays $800 and doesn't get started and doesn't do anything? I'm why am I attracting these people? And then I gotta rein it in and realize what I put out there, how I show up, that is what I'm going to get back. Okay. And so it's really, really important to just be yourself, you guys, and push yourself. Okay. We can sit here and say, be yourself all day long. You're okay, that's great. So what do I do with that? Well, you need to think of something, and you need to just go post it. You need to get a little bit vulnerable. Okay. And you need to put it out there. That's a task, homework, challenge, if you will. Everybody, you can tag us in it. I want you to tag me in it. Put something out there that you normally wouldn't. Okay. I'm not saying you got to do the Jake from State Farm reel, something like that. I'm just saying, get a little bit uncomfortable. Okay. When I first started, I don't know if anybody ever saw my, I did a reel or a live about this. I worked in an office full of young dudes. I was in sales and I was so insecure about my weight, but I had just started with Beachbody and it's all about showing your before and afters and your results. Well, I wouldn't freaking do it. Like it was holding me back in my business because I didn't want my coworkers to see my freaking belly hanging out. And then I'd go to work the next day and be judged or made fun of. I was so insecure. The version of me then to now is just, it's wild because now I just don't give a fuck. But back then I did. And it would literally cripple me and it held me back so much. I ended up blocking all of them. And I told them, I was like, it's nothing personal. This is my business page, but like, I gotta get whatever is standing in the way. Like if there's somebody you're thinking about before you post something or before you go on your story, same thing. My dad was one of those people. Like he didn't like the F word. And I was like, I couldn't be me. I had to block all that out. So I blocked all of them. I started showing up as me. I started showing my belly hanging out, showing my before and afters. And that's when I really started getting traction in my business. And then, it just kept growing from there. It compounded because the more I felt confident showing up like that, the more my confidence grew. I started growing as a person. And when you become more confident, you guys, that is like, there's something about it. The law of attraction, when you start showing up and showing up as a badass and you really like are feeling yourself, people just gravitate to you. People don't gravitate to the like, hi, collagen. I'm not making fun of that because I was that person at one point. Okay. You got to just start being bold. You got to just show up and practice, sit in front of a mirror, practice talking about the products, practice just showing up and talking. We are so good in our heads. Like you ever think about ideas all the time and you're like, oh, that'd be such a good post or something. And you go to actually write it out. And I'm like, it takes me like an hour. Okay. It's because I don't practice it enough. I don't brain dump. Okay. So start practicing getting what's going on in your head out onto a post or showing up and talking on your story, going live. Moral of the story, you guys, is get louder, get bold. Everybody on here, post something a little bit vulnerable. That's where I was going with it. So I was saying, I blocked all those people that I worked with and now they're all unblocked because of course I'm like, oh yeah, I don't care now that I'm successful and I'm feeling myself. I don't care now. You can watch all day long. And it's funny because they're the ones that text me all the time. They're like, Del, haven't seen you in a day or two. Like everything okay? Like they're like so into my content now. They're like my biggest fans, but it was my own insecurities that were holding me back. And I had gone through a period of time where I was in a really abusive relationship. I had, eventually gotten sober after that. So there were so many things that I was going through. Once I started putting those out there and talking about those vulnerable things in my life, talking about narcissism and abusive relationships, talking about, my eating disorders, talking about binge, my issues with binging, my drinking issues, my Adderall issues. I started putting it all out there, you guys. My business blew up. And again, I'm not saying you have to put it all your business out there, but the more you do open up and allow people in, that's where people connect with you. So definitely think of something that you haven't shared, maybe that you would be open, okay, to putting out there and tag us in it because I'd love to read it. And that's the other thing too. You think you have all these people that are just going to be judging you. Like, fuck them. Those are not your people. Are they ever going to join you in business? Probably not. So what's the point? You are going to have so many more people that are supportive and that want to see you win than the people that are the haters that honestly, like, they don't matter to your life. They don't. So block out whoever it is that is holding you back when it comes to social media. Vanessa, that's perfect. Yeah. So Vanessa said her custody battle, her separation from her son has helped her interact with so many people recently. Yeah. So the fact that you're bold enough to like share that with the public, that's awesome. Like I have respect for you. I don't even know you yet. And I already have so much respect because you put it out there. There's a lot of people that are too afraid to do that. And the fact that you do that, like, that's freaking awesome. And you're going to be able to help so many other people that are going through that. And I know Brittany does it a lot too with everything she's been going through. She's very, very vulnerable. She puts it all out there, and her inbox floods, you guys. It floods with people that just want to connect. So this business, you guys, is all about building relationships. It's not about making the sale. That will come the more relationships you build, but you can't be thinking about like, oh, this girl liked my thing, so I need to like go message her so that I can get her to join my team. You have to really think about it like, okay, here's somebody that I can build a relationship with. What can I take from her profile or something I found that I can relate to, that I can actually build a genuine connection? And the more of these genuine connections that you're building each day, the better your business is going to go. The people that win the most in this industry are the people that are talking to the most new people each day, not the same people every single day that are always showing up on your story or swiping up on this, like new genuine connections. And it's not like, oh girl, well, it's fine. Okay. If somebody messaged me right now, they're like, I like your new hair. That's fine. Okay. I don't feel like they're just being like silly, but try to have a little bit more substance, okay, when you're building a connection. And that's why it's easier when you do identify some things about you that are things you've been through or you've overcome or you're interested in or you like. And so what I would encourage everybody to do is join 5 new Facebook pages, okay, Facebook groups. They can be of anything. So like Vanessa, I'm sure you're already in some, but there's definitely Facebook groups for what you just talked about when it comes to custody battles and separation. I joined all of my pages when I first started with Lavelle were sober sisters, sobriety, sober as fuck, like all these sober pages. I joined, narcissism pages, all about, narcissistic abuse. And what that does is now in a hub of other people who have something that we can relate to. And as they're posting in this page, I am genuinely reaching out to them and formulating a relationship. When Karen posts about how she, just got out of a relationship with a narcissist and she's struggling, I've been there. I can send her a message and really actually mean it when I say, hey, I know what you're going through. I'm here if you want to like talk, blah, 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 ask her some questions, really just connect with somebody. Yeah, I mean, so it can be food, it can be like keto diet, it can be freaking like in a workout program you're doing, it can be crunchy mom pages, like anything you can freaking think of, you guys, there's a Facebook group for. Go find your people. Like my mom, for example, my mom's always struggled with like where to find her people. And my stepdad had just passed away a couple weeks ago. Eventually when she's ready, we were already talking about how there's all these support groups for her. Now she's not at all thinking, oh my God, I can't wait to recruit all these grieving grieving people like myself into a business. No, she's thinking, okay, how can I get myself around other people that I can relate to and find some community with? Think about it that way. And then the business will be a direct effect of that. Crystal, I'm going to pass it back to you. I got to get my charger before my laptop dies.
Yeah. Mic drop. I don't know how I'm going to follow that, but you guys, everything she said is like so dead on. A lot of this business, you're going to have to step out of your comfort zone a little bit. You're going to have to be a little vulnerable. You're going to have to share bits and pieces of yourself, and it is going to be scary, and you're probably going to sweat like a pig, and you're going to be shaking, and you're going to be scared. And I can tell you right now, you guys, like my first post that I did in this business, in this industry, were not that good. It's hilarious because I was actually looking at them all today, you guys, and I had like pictures that I just didn't know what to do with my hands, and they were like in weird positions, and it was just like, I was like, what was I thinking? Like, what in the world? So it is messy in the beginning. It is weird. None of us came into this with the perfect aesthetic. None of us came into this with like exactly knowing what we were going to say. Going live, you guys, is super, super huge. And it's super, super scary too. A lot of people, I think, overthink it, but talking in your stories is a really good way to practice like doing an actual live on Instagram or Facebook. So just talking a little bit here and there in your stories will kind of help you do that. And always look at like other leaders too and see how they're talking. Like Del said, find somebody that you feel connected with in the network marketing industry, somebody you have something in common with, or maybe she has a vibe and you're just like, this vibe is like the shit, and see how she's doing things and how she's talking. Everything for Modere, you guys. So I obviously came from Lavelle, but do you think I knew how to talk about the lean body system? No. Did I know how to talk about the business opportunity? No, I didn't know crap about it except for the comp plan. I just knew that I could, make money with just enrolling customers, right? Like I did not know how to talk about anything, but how did I learn to do that? I was resourceful. One, I watched Del. I threw her in 3 ways with people so I could hear how she explained the lean body system, how she explained the business opportunity. Bunny just did it the other day. Yesterday, I believe it was, she enrolled her very first social marketer. Congratulations, Bunny. But she's like, I have no idea what I'm doing. What do I do? So she threw me into a 3-way with this person, right? And that's how I learned, like, was by putting Del in a 3-way with people to see how she talked about the products and the business. And then I went through her Facebook and I got inspired. I seen how she talked about the products when she made a post. I seen how vulnerable she is. I've been following Del for like 3.5 years anyway, but I didn't know anything when I joined Modere. Yes, I've been in the industry going on 4 years, but I didn't know anything about Modere or the products or how they worked or anything like that. However, I was very, very resourceful. So I always go to the team page. I'll go to the team page or the customer page and I'll type it in the search engine. If I want to create a reel, like I never knew how to do a reel before, right? I'm like, I don't know how to create a reel. What I do, I went to YouTube and typed in how to create a reel. Like very, very resourceful. And it's amazing here because I feel like we're set up here so much more for success than I was at my previous company. And we have so many different resources that you guys can tap into that have literally kind of been put on this silver platter and like handed to you. And like, the only thing I'm not doing is spoon feeding it to you, right? I give you the platter, you have to feed yourself, kind of thing. So I know a lot of people are kind of like, well, what do I do when I start a social marketer? So I want you to think back when you started, when you hit that social marketer button, what did your enroller send you? She sent you a link, didn't she? An onboarding link that has everything you need to do to get onboarded onto Modere, right? Step by step, it's all written out there. You can't mess it up. You really can't mess it up, right? We have in the team page, in the GFC team page, if you guys have not gone through the featured posts at the top, please go through those. Those are up there and pinned at the top for a reason because they're super important and they will help you. There's so many things that Del has already done all the work, you guys, that cuts out a lot of work for us. It's incredible. So many different things that you can use. When you get a new customer, there's a link that you can send your customer that Del created that tells them how to create their account, how to download the Modere app, how to use their codes, their $10 off codes. Like it's already done. So when you're like, I got a new customer, I don't know what to do, use the link that Del made. It's right there for you. I like what Del said earlier, try 2 or 3 different ways to find your answer before you reach out, because you being able to find the answer is going to help you teach your person coming in how to find the answer. We share a lot of stuff in the team chats. And when we put them in there, we don't just put them in there because we're bored. We put them in there because they can truly help you and they're resources or things that you need to save. So if someone puts something in the team chat and they're like, save this for easy access, you should probably save it. So being super resourceful is very important and taking it upon yourself to try and figure things out, and just try to remember when you got onboarded and you came into the business, what did you get sent, right? Go back and look, like, what did they send me when I first started? Ding, there it is. We actually have boards created. So if you haven't downloaded the boards app, we have a couple different boards, you guys, that cuts out all kinds of work for you. Literally, you have somebody reaches out and is like, I'm interested in the Lean Body System, or maybe I'm interested in Go, right? Oh, they're interested in Go. Well, if you downloaded the Modere app in the Modere Life app and you went in there and you were browsing around, you guys, there is a PDF file and a video, like a very awesome, like professional video there that explains every single product that we have. PDFs that explain all the products and their ingredients and what they do. You have all of those things. So when you downloaded these apps, you guys go through them. The Shout app, you guys, that app is amazing. Like for somebody who has never done this before, that has no idea what to post and what to do, that app, that one basically is spoon feeding you. That app is definitely spoon feeding you, and it's amazing. I still use it. I'm even using it like every once in a while. So don't be afraid to go through the chats or the team pages and browse around, click on stuff, click on the featured. I know when you first start, like the first thing you want to do is get Guide One certified. Like it's the very first thing on the list of getting onboarded. And people are like, I don't know how to create a cart. Well, did you do Guide One? No. And then I'm like, well, check your Shout app. There'll be a really good post in there today. What's the Shout app? Did you not read the onboarding thing? I know I'm being a little red here, guys, but that's kind of like what I want you guys to see. Like everything that you need to help you be successful here has literally been done for you. And it's super awesome, because this is what I wanted for my team in my previous company, and I wasn't able to give that to them. So in my previous company, I felt like I was just dumping all of this information on people, and they were getting overwhelmed, and they didn't know what was right, what was left, what was wrong. Like it was just a whole hot mess. And here the systems are so perfect and set up like in order of how to do things. Like you really can't mess it up unless you're not trying. A little bit on the branding. I know in the previous company, and there's a lot of you here from Le-Vel, I know that they like bashed it into our heads. You have to have 5 things. What are your 5 things? What are your 5 pillars? And so everyone's like, I don't know, maybe I have 1, maybe I have 2, and then they're stressing out like I don't have 5. It's okay. Your branding can be different every single day. You can literally brand yourself on a different thing every single day. So like maybe, so I kind of did this. I've got some health issues coming up. I've got some heart issues going on. I got some boobie issues going on, right? I spilled that out onto my Facebook. I talked about it. I went live about it, right? So what did I do? A bunch of people who had been through it before, who have had the same scare, started reaching out to me. So now I'm building relationships with other people that had that same scare, that have had heart issues, that have had breast cancer, or maybe a breast cancer scare. And I've been able to like get some relationships built with them. Now, let's say, hope to God, everything comes back okay, dear universe, good stuff, manifestation, healthy crystal, and I don't end up having breast cancer, which would be great, and my heart's just fine. I'm just an anxiety-stricken person. I still have like those people that I built a relationship with around the scare, right? So then maybe tomorrow my alarm clock is my cat puking, right? Like that's kind of funny. Like the best alarm clocks, all alarm clocks should be the sound of a cat puking, right? Just like share your life every single day, right? Your brand can be different. Like I know that my brand, my very strong brand is my yoga, but there's so much more to me than just yoga, right? I have schizophrenia. I had an abusive mom. My baby sister OD'd on heroin. And she's dead, you know, like I found my dad dead when I was 7 years old. You know, I go see a therapist. I talk about how it's important to take your medicine. Like there's just so many different things, and it's going to change and evolve. Brittany went from being a married stay-at-home mom to now she is a single stay-at-home mom. You have Lizzie, who she's so beautiful. Hi, Lizzie. She's like going through this whole thing. She kind of went through this like spiritual awakening, and she's super outdoorsy. She goes hiking, she takes pictures of sunsets, like just so many things. So just be you. Also, Brittany likes to eat peanut butter by like the pound. Literally, this girl eats like a half a pound of peanut butter, right? So just things that you don't think people would like be interested in. Like, you might not think that your life is interesting, but believe me, there are a ton of people out there that are living vicariously through you, and they find your stuff interesting. And just because they didn't like your post or comment on your post does not mean that they're not connecting with you on some level. And that's why that's why consistency is important, because some of those people just aren't comfortable enough yet to reach out to you. But the more they get to know you by you being vulnerable and putting yourself out there, the more comfortable they will get. And eventually they will reach out to you, or when you reach out to them, you guys will have that connection.
I wanted to say one thing off of what you just said. It just resonated. I was thinking this the other day. I don't know if anybody was on last week's call with Tony Zalecki. It was a Monday night Elite on the Rise call. And he was literally saying, like, you get in the habit of just like recording yourself all the time, like doing things that you normally wouldn't like record yourself doing, but get into the habit of talking on camera. Right now, short form video is the biggest thing that you can do. It's, you know, Instagram, unfortunately, doesn't like just a picture anymore. Video is where it's at. And obviously reels are great, but if you can actually start taking short little 15-second, 30-second, 1-minute clips of yourself talking about whatever it may be, any subject. Again, it's a great way for someone to see your face talking, your personality coming through, and it's original content. If you can start posting that as a reel, you guys are going to get a lot more traction that way too. But that all takes practice, and it's all about being intentional with everything being content. Like, you're the whole, like, everything is content and everything is it is so true. Okay. And Jesse Lee always says content is king. The thing is, though, it does take effort. Okay. There's so many times where my lazy ass will be sitting around and something will happen, or I'll see something funny, or I'll think, oh my God, that would be hilarious if I videotaped it, but I don't feel like getting off my ass, or I don't feel like taking the time to like get my phone out, re-record it, or like, you know, ask somebody to redo what they just did. I don't know, something like that. So I just let it go. And I get into these habits, like, where I just like, and the thing is that the difference between the people who make it are the people that do take that extra minute, that extra few seconds. It's honestly like 30 seconds of your time to put in the effort to actually capture something. You guys don't think it has to be like this super interesting story each day. People are nosy as shit. Like, when you're at the grocery store, take a boomerang of what's in your cart. Take a little slow motion or a video of you around Walmart and put like "Welcome to the Jungle" as the theme song. Like, you can literally make anything something. Okay. Everything really is content. You make your dinner, take a boomerang of dinner, whatever you're making your kids. Like, everything you freaking do can be turned into content. I'm sitting out on my mom's deck and I'm like, oh, it's beautiful out here. I could take a slow little video and put a nice country song to it with the sun going down. Like, every freaking thing is content, but it takes that extra little bit of effort to record it and then post it. There's a lot of things that pass us during the day that would be really awesome. It's not going to capture itself. And it does, like, it does become, there's times, okay, like before I was married, if there was a person I was into and they were watching my stuff, it was like, oh my God, everything was freaking posted. It was like, I don't know. It's funny to me because I'm like, when I'm in that mindset where I'm trying to impress somebody, or there's somebody on there watching my stuff that I want, like, I'm like putting on a freaking show every day. There's all this like funny content, beautiful content. And then when I'm like, you know, being a lazy ass and just kind of comfortable in my comfort zone and I'm just blah, I just like don't take the time to do it. I don't take the effort. It really does take effort, and it makes all the difference. It really does. When I start showing up and I'm like really not putting on a show in a sense of like faking anything, but when I'm really like giving people an experience when they watch my stuff, it doesn't have to be super interesting, but I'm like putting in a little bit of effort, it pays off. People start reaching out. It's just, you're attracting people. It's attraction marketing.
Dude, your video today, putting on makeup, you wouldn't think watching somebody put on makeup would be like enjoyable. You're like, why am I going to watch somebody else put on makeup? But she was legit like hilarious. Like she was like using this like lip scrub and like scrubbing her lips and making them all soft and stuff. Like it was, and the way she was just talking to people just about regular old stuff, the name of the product she was using, and they're not even like Modere products, you guys. She just did that. And I'm sure she's got quite a following that does makeup. She's into makeup. She loves it. It's like art. And she's sharing that. Right.
And I did not want to go live. It was pulling teeth. I literally sat there and I was like, because I know I could get it done 3 times faster, my makeup. Okay. But because I got to stop and talk and I got to think about all this, I'm like, ugh. But I did it. Okay. The point is, you're not always going to enjoy what you're doing all the time with this. Okay. But the parts that are the most fun, okay, the winning, the making the big checks, the accomplishments, the recognition, the celebrating as a community, all of those things, like, you can't trade like anything for. Okay. It's a freaking high, but you don't get there without putting in the work, and the work is not always the sexy part. Okay. I'll be honest with you. I love sitting there for an hour of my day, going and like searching for people through different hashtags or posts, or finding certain people and building a connection. Talking to strangers for me is not going to be like my favorite part of this business. It's not. I'd much rather do this or mentor people, but I don't get to do this until I build the connections first. It's part of the process. You got to fall in love with the whole process. The parts that you love don't come without putting in the muscle work. And the muscle work is the parts that you don't have a business if you are not building connections every single day. And I'm telling you, just get into the habit, force yourself. It's like going to the freaking gym, whatever. But yeah, Crystal, you're right. And it's funny because I do my makeup every single day and I never go live. And today I was like, oh, okay, we'll just fucking do it. Who knows? It could spark, one person could see that and have a conversation, and boom, they end up seeing. The point is, you're building connections, not necessarily to get that person to join you right then, but you're building a connection, a community, so that they start watching your stuff. And so then once you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, like posting about the business and the products, and then yourself, boom, oh my gosh, you've now got 20 extra eyes on you. 2 of those people are probably going to end up joining or being a customer, but you got to get the 20 eyes on you. And to do that, you have to start building connections.
And that actually is an awesome lead into our last topic of the evening. I'm trying not to keep you guys on here too long, but DMOs. So your daily method of operation. So the things that you're doing daily to grow your network, to get more people's eyes on your things. The number one thing is adding new people. Like Del said earlier, new people, new conversations, new connections. You guys, you're going to plow through your Facebook, whoever you have on there. If you have 124 friends, you're going to plow through that network fairly quick. Your warm network is just going to be, you're going to go through it quick. You have to have new people adding to your network. Now, I get a lot of people that are like, well, I asked them, how many people did you add to your Facebook today or sent a friend request? Well, I sent like 10, but nobody ever actually accepts my friend request. Well, how many conversations have you had with these people? How many times in the group that you found them in, were you in the comments of their posts or commented back or started a conversation with them in the comments that led to Messenger? So people are just really shady. If somebody adds me and I don't know who they are, even as a network marketer, I'm like, who are you and why are you adding me? So I go to their page and I'll scroll through their page to see what we have in common. Like, do I really want to have this person in my network? Like if it's like some, I don't know, dog mom and she's obsessed with dogs and she has like a huge dog and all she talks about is her dog, like that's not interesting to me. I'm not going to add her. I'm not going to accept her friend request. So the people that do accept friend requests when I send out friend requests is literally like people that I have things in common with. So I have a lot of yoga people. I have a lot of women who had torn relationships with their moms. I have people that struggle with gaining weight. I have people, just all kinds of different people, but I've built some type of relationship. So when I do hit that add button, they're like, oh, that's Crystal from the Narcissistic Moms group. She's super cool and helpful. So like when you're adding people, just make sure you're adding tagging people that you've kind of started a friendship with or have talked about in the comments, or gotten into Messenger with, little things like wishing people happy birthday every day. I make mine very personal. It's Matthew singing happy birthday. When I'm scrolling through Facebook, I try not to scroll for the most part, but when I do, I'm always like commenting, and I always leave it with an open-ended question. So that way they're kind of obligated to answer back and get a conversation going. So as far as like, daily methods of operations, do you have anything you want to add to that? Even Brittany, I haven't called you in here. I don't know if you're like in the mood to talk, or as far as like anything that we've actually talked about, Brittany, if you have anything you want to add to anything. Your branding is amazing, so I would love to hear on that, because I think that's what most people struggle with, is the branding part.
Honestly, like, you just got to show up as who you are, and that's what I do. And you know, switching companies, you know, it can get confusing. I mean, a lot of us are from Lavelle, and it's like, okay, so like, now how am I going to do my stories? And it's like, I'm literally doing the same thing, just with a different product. I'm still going live every morning, and instead of making my shake, I'm taking my trim. It's like, it's the same exact thing. People are like, if I'm not there talking in the morning about something, if they don't see Killian in the morning, like, they're like, Brittany, like, are you okay today? So like, it's just, you're just using a different product with a different company. It's no different. I still do my birthdays every other day or every 3 days. I'm still interacting with people. I'm still growing my network. I'm still making reels. It's just different. It's with a different product. It's with a different company. I'm not a different person because I switched companies. I'm the same person. I'm still talking to the same people I've talked to before. And actually, now that one of my new customers today, which I didn't shout her out yet, but in the chat, but I got another new customer today, and she never ordered Thrive with me because she loves her coffee. So I got a new customer with a girl that I used to work with like 8 years ago, who we still talk every day. She is a big leader in Scentsy. Like, she's in network marketing, and I used to work with her, like, but she never bought product from me through Thrive because she loves her coffee and never wanted to give it up. So, I mean, I'm still talking to people, the same people that I've talked to before. I'm not doing anything different. I'm still showing up the way I've shown up the entire last 4 years. So, whoops. So, it's just consistency, you guys. If you want this to work, you have to be hungry for it. You have to get in your stories, be vulnerable, go live, talk about, even if you're at the playground with your kids, like, go live at the playground. Show your kids, like, playing around, having fun. If they fall down, like, oh, that's real life. Hey, I can relate to that, you know? So you don't have to get all dressed up to go live. Like, I get on lives at 10 o'clock at night in my fucking pajamas. Like, nobody really cares. It's relatable. It's real. And like, that's what people love. Like, that's why I have 33,000 followers on Facebook, because I'm a real person. Like, people don't come to my page and they're like, oh, it's all filtered out, it's all Photoshop, like, she's not real. Like, I shared my fucking ass in stories because our product works
right now,
that fucking good, you know? Like, and I said while I was doing my trim, I said, you guys are gonna probably see my ass in the next slide, so be prepared, because I have to show you how awesome this stuff is working, like, on my fucking butt. Like, you're gonna get a butt in your stories today. So, and people love that shit. I'm telling you, like, they love it. And you'd think I got a lot of messages from guys, but honestly, I just got one. And the rest were from girls who were like, I need that shit. I need this cellulite gone. Like, my ass, like they're telling me my ass looks like I got implants in it. I'm like, no, dude, that's just my butt. Like, this is how good this shit is working. And that's like honestly what I've been selling is the lean body system and that body firming foam, because that stuff is life. I'm telling you. But
Yeah.
I'm literally just being real. I'm being myself. And that's what people love. Um, People don't love that fake ass shit, you guys. They like real and they like raw. And if you would just be authentically who you are, you're gonna attract other people like you. So, I mean, just I'm gonna call some people out. Amanda, Aaron, like why did you guys join me? You know what I mean? Like what attracted you to me? Think about that. Like Emily, why did you sign with Crystal? Crystal, why did you sign with Dell? It's like you related to that person on some sort of level. You liked something that they were doing. They were doing something that you wanted for yourself. So go back to that and think, what about that person drew you in? Why, you're obviously relating to them. They're doing something that you're relating to or that you want help with, or I have a lot of people in my inbox and all we talk about is literally their fucking husband's cheating on them, or you're being a single parent, or wanting to stop drinking and not knowing how. They want to know how I'm doing it and staying sober after all this other shit that I deal with. And how are you co-parenting so well with your husband who fucking had multiple affairs on you? Like, how are you doing it? Like, because I'm being vulnerable and putting this shit out there, they start trusting you, they start feeling safe, they start opening up and being vulnerable themselves. So it's because I'm literally putting myself out there and talking about shit that I'm going through, knowing that other people are going to relate to it. That's literally all I'm doing.
I want to bounce off that, you guys. So this kind of stuff now comes natural for Delaney and me and Brittany. Like it just comes natural. We're not afraid. We don't give a shit what anybody thinks. Like we've attracted our people. We've got support. We have followers. We have people that we're friends with. But in the beginning, when we first started sharing stuff like this, it was very uncomfortable and it was very, very scary. Like I remember my first live talking about my drug addiction or my postpartum depression, where I literally was having visions of me killing my son at 6 months old, you guys. That was really hard for me to talk about. I bawled my eyes out. I was shaking. It was hard. But do you have any idea how many people reached out to me and said that that helped them? They didn't feel alone and they need to know how they can get help because they have postpartum depression. And then you start thinking to yourself, you're not so much embarrassed about it anymore and you're not so much scared about it, but you're like, who else can I help with my story? Who else is out there that needs to hear my voice and know that they're not alone in whatever it is that they're in? And trust me, every single person on here, you have been through something or you are going through something that you can help somebody else with. And that's what you have to have in your mind. So when you're going live and you're scared and you're about to be super vulnerable, believe that there are people out there that are appreciating that and they don't feel alone and that you are literally helping them. And after a while, once you start getting all that feedback and all those supporters and all those people telling you how much your story has helped them, it's like, it's just natural. It just comes natural now. Now you're like, okay, I struggled with this. This is what I'm really struggling with right now. And da, 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 da. And then this is what I did to fix it or whatever. And you'll just be excited to share because you know somebody else out there needs to hear what you have to say. And it can be about anything. It could be struggling with being a single mom. It could be struggling with your body image. It could be alcoholism. It could be schizophrenia. I take a huge dose of psychotics. I was really scared to talk about that. And did I get people in my inbox that were like, you share too much. You talk too much. Not everybody wants to hear your story. And I had hundreds of people tell me that. I had a whole bunch of people block me on Facebook. I had a whole bunch of people unfriend me. But there was one person that reached out and said, you saved my life. And I put myself and got help. I went to rehab and got help. And then another person's like, I went and decided to start therapy for my postpartum depression. And then 10 more people told me, you're ridiculous. You shouldn't be sharing that shit. But those 2 people that I helped is all that mattered to me. So don't listen to all the negative Nancy's and the Dougie Downers. If you got people commenting or messaging you, just block them. That's it. Just block them out. No need to argue with them or try to tell your side of it or anything like that, because getting vulnerable is going to open a door for some haters. But just know that they're not the ones that matter. You're not there to help them. Clearly, they don't need the help.
Or those people who are hating on you really need to see you. Maybe they're the ones who need you.
And they just don't know it yet.
You know, we do make this look easy. We make it look easy going live and stuff. And I'll tell you right now, when I started network marketing, I did not go live. I recorded myself over and over and over again until I felt comfortable with the video, and I posted the video to start. People commented on it, maybe not a lot, but people did. And then after recording myself a few times, I'm like, I can go live. And I had a few drinks and I went live, because back then I was drinking and I was always drinking wine or whatever. And then, you know, I just got comfortable enough with it where I didn't need to drink on a live. So, you know, you got to start somewhere. And if maybe just recording a video of yourself until you're comfortable with it, maybe start there. But
You got to
every
start.
single person has something that they're going through, like Crystal said, or went through before, that somebody else is going to be able to relate to.
And maybe you're not in a place where you feel comfortable sharing that stuff yet, but think about something that you can help people with. What are you good at? Are you good at crock pot recipes? Are you good at this? Are you good at that? And I liked what Del said earlier. You know, if you're the kind of person that's like, you know, I kind of just like to Netflix and chill. I don't really do much, so I don't know what I like to do. Get out and do it, you guys. A few years ago, one of my dreams was to go horseback riding, and I was able to go horseback riding, and I thought that I was going to love it. I talked it up. I hyped it up. I was so excited. You guys, getting a horse ready for horseback riding sucks. They stink. You have to clean out their shoes. I did it one freaking time and I'll never do it again. But that was me getting out of my comfort zone and trying to go do things to see what I liked and what I was good at and what I enjoyed, and maybe something I can help people with or show people how to do something. Each and every single one of you has a story. Each and every single one of you are good at something. You are good at something. You're knowledgeable. You're smart. You're beautiful. You guys all have something. And sometimes you just got to do a little digging and then get a little bit out of your comfort zone. I don't want to really keep you guys on here any longer. We've been on here for about an hour. So get out of your comfort zone, do the work, be consistent. It is going to take work. Okay. Like I tell everybody, you know, this business isn't easy. It's not easy by far, but the things that you need to do to build your business are simple. They're simple things that you can do to build your business and build relationships and connections and help people. And what you think might not help somebody, you may have completely changed their life. Del, do you want to take us out? You got anything you want to?
No, I was just gonna say, as far as like homework, or I normally don't do homework assignments, but I know sometimes like some people are used to like they need to be told what to do in order to do it. Like, you know, back in the corporate world, you had a boss that would be like, do this. You guys are all running your own businesses here. And so you got to remember, you're holding yourself accountable. You got to be self-motivated. Are you going to be motivated all the time? Absolutely not. It's pushing through and having self-discipline to do the things you don't want to do because you know you have to, and it's necessary to win and succeed. So I'll just leave you with everybody post something that puts you out of your comfort zone a little bit and tag us. Tag Brittany, Crystal, and I on it. Get 5 new people into the GFC Opportunity Facebook page. Okay, when you get them in there, tag them on the first video about what is social retail. Okay, 5 people this week. So today's Monday. Let's do it from now to Friday. Get 5 people into that group. post something vulnerable and tag us in it. And there was one other thing and I can't freaking remember it. Oh,
Go
if
ahead
it
and get,
comes,
go ahead and get 5 potential customers into the customer group too. Whatever it is that they're looking for, get them in there. I add every single person that asks me any question about any product whatsoever. I'm just like, hey, I'm going to add you to my customer group. There's a bunch of customer testimonies in there, some videos, some product information. You could type anything in the search engine. Or if they reach out and they're like, hey, I've had gastric bypass surgery, whatever, you could say, hey, I'm going to add you to this page, type that in the search, or I'll go type it in the search myself and then tag them in a couple posts that somebody put up there. So that would be like a good Dell's homework assignment kind of thing.
yeah, I just remembered the other one. So, okay, so 5 people into the opportunity Facebook page. Okay, business prospects. 5 people into the real results page for customer prospects. And then join 5 Facebook groups of interests, hobbies, something you can relate to, and start building those connections. Okay. So those 3 sets of those 5 things, and then post that vulnerable post. That's all I got.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, everybody who showed up. I appreciate you showing up tonight. And yeah, that's it. I'm gonna let you guys go now. I'm not good with closeouts. I'm like, I'm good. Peace out. So you guys
Kick
have a
some ass this month, the rest of this month. We've
Yes.
got what, like 13, 14 days left?
Yep.
2 weeks, you guys. That's freaking so much time in this industry.
it
2
really is.
weeks, so much can happen.
Yep. All right, you guys have a wonderful evening. Thanks for showing up tonight and get those things done. Peace out.
Bye.